Hey, I'm Bjorn Wagner. What I would like to do today is give you an overview of Polkadot and lay out some of its characteristics that make it an excellent home for the people and the companies building at the cutting edge of Web3. We'll also take a quick look at some of the exciting things happening in the Polkadot ecosystem and find out why so many teams are adopting this technology for their blockchain projects. So what is Polkadot? Well, in essence, Polkadot is a full-stack multi-chain ecosystem for building powerful Web3 applications and services. It is a multi-layered and multifaceted ecosystem that is continuously pushing the boundaries of what's possible with blockchain technology. Now, there are several issues the blockchain space has been struggling with. One of the main problems with today's blockchain networks is that they are fragmented and isolated. These networks are unable to communicate, fragmenting users, assets, functionality across competing networks. We also see significant scalability issues that make the technology impractical for widespread adoption. Beyond this, until now, we have yet to see a suitable development stack for industry-grade Web3 solutions. When we look at Polkadot's architecture, we find three primary layers. At the core of Polkadot is what we call a layer 0 protocol. It's called a layer 0 protocol because it underlies and supports an ecosystem of layer 1 blockchains called parachains. Layer 0 is this foundational layer that Polkadot provides as a solid base for building on top of. This is called the relay chain. On top of this foundational layer are the parachains. These are purpose-built, independent layer 1 blockchains that make up Polkadot's multi-chain ecosystem. From a user's perspective, each of these parachains is equivalent to a full blockchain network like Bitcoin or Ethereum. So you can think of Polkadot as a network of networks, where the entire ecosystem is protected by a built-in security umbrella provided by a shared validator set. Only Polkadot does this. The entire ecosystem also has the ability to exchange data through Polkadot's secure cross-chain interoperability features. Now, the third main layer of Polkadot is the application layer. Different parachains on Polkadot are purpose-built to support different types of applications. And some parachains also provide general-purpose smart contract environments that Web3 developers can use to write their own applications. dApps on Polkadot also benefit from the network's high security and cross-chain interoperability. One of the main benefits of Polkadot is that it allows builders to work not only at the application layer, like with most blockchain platforms today, but it gives them the power to optimize the underlying layer 1 blockchain itself. This unlocks tremendous optimization potential and enables solutions that are impossible or impractical to build with smart contracts. Ultimately, Polkadot was designed to take blockchain technology beyond the cryptocurrency use case that it's become famous for, and to make blockchain tech suitable for a wide range of use cases for the next generation of the internet that we call Web3. Today, even though parachains on Polkadot are less than 1 year old, Polkadot is already the second only to Ethereum in terms of developer activity, according to industry reports. And the ecosystem today is home to hundreds of projects building at every layer of the blockchain tech stack and growing. So let's take a look at some of Polkadot's unique benefits for Web3 builders to see why that is. Let's start by looking at this key idea of flexibility and customization. Polkadot was designed to be as general as possible, while also providing maximum potential for customization. Because of this flexibility, Polkadot provides an open canvas for builders, so they can design solutions in the most optimal way for their projects. There are several different ways to build on Polkadot. First, you can build at the layer 1 level by building your own purpose-built parachain. For this, you can leverage the powerful SDK substrate and its modular components that we call pellets. Pellets are layer 1 blockchain components available off the shelf that provide specific pieces of blockchain functionality. Then, of course, you can build dApps on top of parachains that offer smart contracts. If you're coming from the Ethereum world, you can deploy quickly on one of Polkadot's EVM-compatible platforms, like Moonbeam or Asta. Or you can build next-generation dApps based on WebAssembly, a highly performant virtual machine format we believe will play a significant role in the future of smart contracts. You can also build and leverage infrastructure tooling, APIs, wallets, explorers, and more, all the things you need for a thriving ecosystem. Now, when you build on the majority of blockchain networks today, you're locked into the design decisions of the underlying blockchain, which really limits your potential. Polkadot instead enables purpose-built blockchains and opens up the design space for builders. But why would you want your own custom blockchain, you may ask? Well, there are several reasons. First of all, no one blockchain can be designed for every use case. Therefore, Polkadot was built on the idea that the future of Web3 is multi-chain. One-size-fits-all networks are part of a previous innovation cycle. And what we've seen is that one size often fits none. Polkadot, on the other hand, is greater than the sum of its parts. By building your own chain, not only do you get to optimize your technology for your business case, you also get greater scalability and room to grow. If you don't have your own chain, you're forced to share the transaction throughput of your host chain with hundreds or thousands of other applications. This puts your user experience at the mercy of traffic spikes that, on legacy platforms, slow down transaction inclusion speed and dramatically increase your user transaction costs. And this is really a key point: predictable fees. On legacy smart contract chains, you're subject to gas fees that are highly unpredictable. So you have no control over your users' costs. This automatically rules out blockchain technology for many who would otherwise want to adopt it, especially for many enterprise and industry scenarios. After all, why would you build mission-critical systems on platforms where users have to pay $1 one day and $100 the next for the same action? But fees on Polkadot are predictable. Polkadot enables parachain teams to design their fee structures however they see fit, even making selected transactions entirely free. So Web3 businesses can predict and control their users' cost. This is a huge step forward for the adoption potential of this technology. And when teams build their custom blockchain on Polkadot, they also benefit from the network's built-in security network. That means they don't have to go through the painstaking process of recruiting their own network of validators, a long and expensive process that often leaves chains vulnerable. And for those builders who do need or want the extra power that a custom blockchain provides, Polkadot comes with an industry-leading development kit to streamline the process. With its advanced SDK, Polkadot provides parachain developers with all the building blocks they need for common blockchain components, so they can focus on building the core functionality rather than needing to reinvent the wheel. This means building your own blockchain is easier than ever. Now this brings us to one of Polkadot's core innovations: advanced, secure cross-chain interoperability. But why is that important? Well, the problem with the majority of blockchain technology today is that it's siloed. Applications, users, and assets are isolated on particular blockchain networks that are cut off from each other and unable to communicate, unless they use vulnerable cross-chain bridges. And we've seen a number of these bridges get hacked and exploited over the past year. In fact, over the past year alone, over 2 billion had been stolen due to bridge hacks. Because of this isolation, builders are locked into the platform they choose to deploy on. There's limited potential for growth because you're tied to that platform's users, community, assets, and technology, unless you want to manage deployments on multiple networks, which is a lot of work and leads once again to fragmentation. One thing to think about when it comes to the subject of interoperability and why it's so important is the concept of integrations. Web 2 would never have been so successful without integrations. The ability for companies and developers to tap into functionalities and services built by others is a huge driving force. It means they don't have to start from scratch and reinvent the wheel for every piece of functionality they need. But when it comes to Web 3, we haven't yet seen the same impact with integrations, in part This is because of how siloed and isolated the technology is. Applications are stuck within particular blockchain networks, which each have their own strengths and limitations with no ability to communicate. Until now, cross-chain interactions have been largely limited to asset transfers and swaps across bridges that are often centralized and vulnerable to attackers. So what Web3 needs is a secure common standard for cross-chain interoperability, and that's exactly what Polkadot provides. Polkadot's interoperability standard allows the exchange of any type of data, not just tokens. But not only that, Polkadot actually provides a full-featured language for writing advanced cross-chain applications. So Web3 builders can create applications that tap into the unique strengths and functionalities of an entire ecosystem of specialized blockchains. And that's where things get really exciting. No longer are dApp builders limited to building on a single chain or using a single type of technology. They can build applications that work across blockchains like applications today work across Web2 services. Furthermore, every cross-chain exchange is protected by Polkadot's system-wide security umbrella. So builders don't have to rely on those centralized and vulnerable interchain bridges. That being said, there's actually some exciting work happening in the Polkadot ecosystem around more centralized or decentralized, what we call trust-minimized bridges for connecting to external networks. So parachains and dApps on Polkadot will soon be able to interact with networks like Ethereum and Bitcoin in a much more secure way. Ultimately, it may take us some time to grasp the full impact of this technology because these capabilities have really never existed before. But when you combine the specialization that Polkadot enables for parachains with cross-chain interoperability, you create some really interesting conditions for innovation. A decent mental model here might be how specialization and trade work in the broader economy. When you have a bunch of companies and industries that specialize in doing certain things very well, and they can trade with each other, you get much more favorable conditions for innovation. This is what kicked off the modern global economy. It's also what powered the explosion of Web2 integrations. So I believe it will be really exciting to see how these factors play out in Web3. So beyond Polkadot's customizability and interoperability, I want to highlight a few other areas where Polkadot is really leading the way. Governance, upgradability, and energy efficiency. Governance has long been an important topic in blockchain communities. The question is, how do you get a decentralized group of people to agree on the best path forward for a network? And then, how is the decision being enacted? Well, without clear and enforceable procedures in place, the answer to that question historically has been not very well. Lack of clear governance has meant that decisions making is often opaque and centralized, and blockchains are much slower to evolve than the other types of technology we are used to. And if blockchains can't adapt as better technologies and solutions come along, they're at risk of losing relevance as time goes by. So Polkadot has pioneered what is probably the most advanced governance system out there. It provides open, transparent referenda system for stakeholder alignment with automatic enactment of protocol upgrades. It also features an on-chain treasuries whose funds are allocated to make Polkadot more useful and attractive to Web3 builders. And the community is currently working on a proposal to make Polkadot's governance system even more decentralized and inclusive. Future-proof upgradability. One of the really interesting things that Polkadot does is it makes blockchains much more easily upgradable. It offers what we call forkless upgrades. Forks are commonplace for legitimate blockchain systems, given that they have no means to enact upgrades autonomously, even if an upgrade has been decided upon. They should be avoided at all costs as they fragment the blockchain's users and assets and cause all sorts of serious issues for third parties that are relying on smooth operations of the chain. So once again, you have blockchains that are slow to update and evolve. And that's a recipe for stagnation and irrelevance. Polkadot can upgrade without a fork, automatically when a decision is made via the governance system. And the same goes for parachains, in fact. Each of them can upgrade without a fork as well, so they can continue to evolve, quickly fix bugs, and add meaningful functionality for their users. We firmly believe that this will allow Polkadot to remain future-proof. Last but certainly not least, Polkadot is a green and incredibly energy-efficient protocol. In fact, according to some recent external reports, Polkadot's nominated proof-of-stake system may be the greenest out there, consuming the equivalent of only 7 first-world homes worth of energy per year. This is a tiny fraction of the energy that traditional proof-of-work blockchains consume. To close things up, I would like to share some exciting things happening in the Polkadot ecosystem. Over the past year, we've seen 64 parachains connect to Polkadot's ecosystem. There are also more than 325 unique palettes for builders to choose from when creating their custom chains. We also saw an 84% year-over-year increase in tools, APIs, and services. These tools are crucial for making Polkadot effective and efficient to build with. In terms of support offered to ecosystem builders, recently Web3 Foundation surpassed 400 awarded grants, and over $9 million has been spent by Polkadot's very own on-chain treasury to fund projects that make Polkadot more powerful to build with. In terms of development activity, Polkadot has become the _1 most active developer ecosystem outside of Ethereum. With more than 1,400 monthly active developers, a 75% increase year on year, and over 500 core contributors to the Polkadot's protocol repositories, we are in a very good spot. Interoperability. In terms of interoperability, we've seen a huge uptick in activity since cross-chain messaging landed on Polkadot just a few months ago. We now have more than 10,000 cross-chain messages being sent per day within the Polkadot ecosystem, with more than 170 active channels between those parachains. And with some exciting updates coming up for Polkadot's interoperability features, these figures are really just the beginning of what we are going to see in terms of cross-chain interoperability. So, thank you all for joining me today. I hope I've helped you understand why we believe Polkadot is quickly becoming the home of Web3 and why it has the most cutting-edge and powerful technology in the blockchain space today. If you're interested in building on Polkadot or just learning more about it, please visit the Polkadot website. You can also get in touch with us there and find hands-on support and guidance to building in the ecosystem. Thank you.